Good morning, everyone. This is Evangelist Karen, and this is Fight for It Fridays. So, I have a word for you all on today, and it is fight for it. We're coming from the book of Numbers and 13 through 14. And of course, it's the very familiar passage of scripture. It talks about the 12 spies that Moses sent into Canaan to spy out the land. They were right on the cusp of getting everything it is that God said that they were going to get. He sent them into the land and he gave them some instruction. He told them, he says, see what's in the land. He says, see who's in the land. He says, tell me if they strong or weak. And then he told them, he said, is the land good? Is the soil good? And he says, are they in camps or are they in fortresses? He wanted to know all this information, if the soil was good, if there was trees. And then he told them, I want y'all to be so brave as to bring some fruit back from the land. My God. So here they are, and they are crossing over. The 12 spies, they go in, they spy out the land. They see that the land is good, and there is somebody named Caleb who is with them. But then they encounter giants. My God. They encounter giants. And so now, even though they see that the land is everything that God said it would be, and even though they see that this land is what God said it would be, here they are in a situation to where now I got a giant. That giant, that means it was an obstacle in their way of them obtaining everything it is that God said that they would get. So Caleb goes away. It says that Caleb begins to pray because Caleb understands now, you know what? They're going to take this report back to Moses and the people are not going to come over here and get whatever it is that God said that we are supposed to have. So he went away to pray. He said, I'm praying for strength that I'm able to stand up to them when they do get this bad report. Now, the Bible tells us that it took about 40 days and they finally came back to the camp and they gave Moses the report. And it said the fruit was so big, my God, that it took 2 men to carry some grapes. My God. Oh, so can you imagine how plentiful and how great this land was? My God, 2 people to carry grapes. Wow. And so it says that they began to tell him, you know what? It's everything that God said it. God said this was going to be the land flowing with milk and honey. He said that we were going to be plentiful. This was going to be a blessed land, and it's all of that. But guess what? There are some giants in the land, and we are like grasshoppers in their sight, meaning we are so small, we are so minute. There's no way that we can overtake them to get this land. Woo! How many of you know that God has given you some direction in this season, in this hour, in this new year? He has given you direction, and you know that everything that God said he was going to do, he do. You can see it. You can feel it in the atmosphere and the environment. There are doors that are opening for you everywhere. Every time you turn, there is blessing, and you're right on the cusp of receiving everything it is that God said. You're right on the cusp of crossing over and possessing that thing, and you run into a giant. What is a giant? A giant is something that's bigger than us. It's this big, tall thing that they didn't see themselves conquering. Well, Caleb was like, hold up. If I could just paraphrase this, he was like, wait a minute. I know it's giants over there, but everything that God has said to us up to this point, it's there, and we can overtake them. We can possess this thing. So guess what that means? It's time to fight for it. He said we can do this because God said we can do it. It's time to fight for it. So I need to speak to some people today so that you begin to understand and know that if God said that this was going to be a prosperous year, a great year, if this was going to be a year that the church was going to obtain everything that he said, if this was the year that God said that this was going to happen in your life and he was going to do this and doors were going to get ready to open. If God told you that, don't allow a giant or any obstacle to get in your way. They let the giants, my God, talk them out or put them in fear of obtaining and possessing everything that God said. If God said he's going to do it, he's going to do it. He's not a man that he should lie. So today I want you to fight for it. It's Friday and it is the time for you to fight for what it is that God said it is. The enemy is not going to just let you just walk on into it all willy-nilly, prilly, and no obstacles. No, he's going to fight you tooth and nail. Why? Because he does not want to see you possess anything that God said that you would possess in this season. It's time to fight for it. It's Friday night and or Friday morning. I dare y'all to fight for what it is that God said, especially if you can see it, especially if you're right on the cusp of what it is that God said. It is time for you to fight. You cannot be fearful. You cannot be weary and well doing. He says that you're more than a conqueror. If you're more than a conqueror, if you're an overcomer, then I need you to step to the giants. I need you to go in and possess everything it is that God said that was yours. It's time to fight, y'all. Fight for it. Fight for it. Fight for it. You've already won. He's already said it's yours. All you have to do is possess. You cannot allow fear or what you see to stop you from obtaining everything it is that God said. He made them a promise, and that promise came to pass. It just took them to cross over and to possess it. But they allowed giants, they allowed an obstacle to stop them. Do not allow anything, any person in this season to stop you from obtaining everything it is that God said you can have. This is Evangelist Karen, and it is Fight for It Friday. God bless you all. I hope this blessed you, and have an awesome weekend. It's time to fight. Fight for it, y'all. Fight.